The break is over and fights are back. And not only are they back, we have a very solid regional fight night with a main event that likely dictates the next light heavyweight challenger. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Perth. And we've been dealing with the ins and outs of UFC. We had a break, then we had 2 fights, we had another break. We've only had 2 fights in a 30-day period, but here we are, about to hit a wild stretch. Not only do we have a bunch of really solid fight nights coming up, we don't have a break in the foreseeable future. This weekend, we have UFC Perth. Next weekend, we have UFC 320. Then we head over to Rio. Then we have UFC 321. Then we have UFC Vancouver. There's a whole bunch of really solid fight nights on the horizon. We've got 2 pay-per-views in August. We have nothing that resembles the Apex, and I am very, very excited for the next couple of months. If you want to go to our website and unlock every pick, every bet, every tool for the spectacular run we are about to go on, it is only $10 a month. Go to wewantpicks.com, click Become a Member. You instantly have access to every pick, every bet, every tool for every single fight card in a month. And when I say a month, I don't mean a calendar month. When I say a month, I don't mean, hey, only August, only September. I mean a full month. If you sign up today, September 24th, you will have full access until October 24th. Every fight night in that time span. And what ends up happening is I show 4 here. You end up getting picks, bets, and breakdowns for 5 fight cards. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. It's $10. In a world where eggs cost $100, this is $10. And it's not just copy paste. We have tools on the website as well. We have tools like the line movement tracker. This will give you opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fight on every card. We have the Prop Hunter. This is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. Significant strike prop bets, takedown prop bets, round line prop bets. We also have a tool called the Fight Simulator. This simulates every fight on the card 100,000 times. And then you can use those outputs for whatever you want. You can have the simulator build fantasy lineups for you for DraftKings and FanDuel. You can deep dive into the simulator to see how many strikes or takedowns or points people are landing or scoring in their fights. And then you take that information, you go to the sports book, and you do the overs or the unders on those lines. Every single thing I just mentioned is $10. No upsell, no cross-sell, no weird packages. It's $10 for all of it. Copy, paste, tools, things are built out for the future. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's talk about this fight card specifically. I'm going to get into the bets, but first let's talk in generalities between some dogs that we like, some favorites that we like. This is kind of a tough card because I look at it and there's some confident spots. And then I look at those confident spots and I'm like, Jesus, uh-oh. For example, we have 2 ladies, 2 women as some of my most confident picks on this card. The first is Alexia Thainara. And while she's relatively unproven, like she blew through the very underwhelming Molly McCann, she is big, she is strong, she is a bully, she will come forward, throw crazy, drag it to the ground. And she's fighting Loma Lookboonmee. Loma Lookboonmee is much better than people give her credit for, but she's also teeny weeny, itsy bitsy for this weight class, and she doesn't love pressure. If you just start grinding forward, backing her up, she doesn't love that pressure, and if you get her to the ground, full survival mode. She doesn't have anything offensive off of her back, just trying to survive. I think Alexia just comes forward all huge, drags her to the ground, potentially finishes her. If not, I think she just big sisters her way through that fight. Michelle Montague, this is a little bit different. While I'm more confident in Alexia than Michelle, what's funny is Michelle is the better fighter, right? Michelle is a very good fighter. She has competed on an international level in wrestling, competed on an international level in jiu-jitsu. And she'll just move forward, strike with reckless abandon, and get after it. So she's dangerous on the feet, she's dangerous in the wrestling exchanges, and she's dangerous on the ground. She is fighting a good fighter. She is fighting Luana Carolina. Good takedown defense, good scrambles, decent striking, a little bit awkward. But I do think that Michelle Montague is just going to move forward. I think Michelle Montague is just going to get the takedowns and also have her own big sister type exchanges and moments here. So I'm pretty confident in Michelle Montague here. Then we have Brando Pericic. What's funny there is you see this minus 225 line. The reality is he opened as a plus 185 underdog. He was a huge underdog in this fight, which I don't understand because even if you just don't dive into the skill set, His opponent is a retired cop who moonlights as a professional fighter, and he's only got a couple of fights. Like, it's not like his opponent is like a D1 All-American wrestler who's coming into the... Like, he's an oldish type dude who started his second career late. So I'm surprised we had any sort of big favorite on either side. Now the line has full swung, and this minus 225 makes way more sense than the giant plus money that we had a week or two ago. Brando is a big, athletic striker. He's a very good striker. He's competed internationally in kickboxing. And he'll snatch up legs and shoot random takedowns as well. So I think Brando gets it done. I think Brando's just the more well-rounded fighter, the more dangerous striker. I think he can just do more. He's fighting like a little bowling ball of a dude. Elisha Ellison, who's going to move forward, throw his own big punches, maybe try to grab a leg or two. But Brando has the better team. Brando's been competing at a high level for a very long time. Brando's the better striker. Brando's the pick. And then Jake Matthews. Neil Magny has defied the odds a few times recently, but he's defied the odds while beating other old people. The only time in recent memory that he has smoked the young is when he was fighting, who's that pretty boy? Mike Malott, Canadian, who was dominating that entire fight, and then Neil ends up on top in an exchange in the third and then finds a finish. That was more Mike Malott having no guts whatsoever than Neil Magny being very good. Neil Magny's well-rounded. Neil Magny's wildly tested. He's been here forever. But Jake Matthews is not a quitter like Mike Malott. Jake Matthews is younger, faster, as good, if not better, of a striker, as good, if not better, of a grappler. Jake Matthews has to be the pick. Then, if we take a look at some solid underdogs here, there's a lot of underdogs on this card. There's certainly a lot of people you can make the case for as an underdog. Jonathan Micallef, for example, I think he wins this fight. I think Jonathan Micallef has enough power in his hands to get his opponent worried and good enough grappling to make something happen there. So I think Jonathan Micallef is a very good underdog, and he's going to be the pick here because if we take a look at Oban Elliott's last fight, he was a little worried about the power, which made him gun shy. And then he got out-wrestled. I think this exact same thing could happen 2 fights in a row. Then we have Rodolfo Bellato. The reality is I am on the other side of this fight, right? I have picked Sterling. But Rodolfo Bellato is objectively the best fighter that Navajo Sterling has fought to date. He's the best grappler he's fought, the best overall fighter he's fought. So just the wild assumption that Rodolfo Bellato sucks and Navajo Sterling is the next big thing is kind of lost on me. So I do think Navajo Sterling wins this fight. I think he's got good enough striking to win those exchanges and good enough takedown defense to not just be completely ragdolled. If he is taken down a few times, I think he pops up, lets his hands go. Plus, we've got sort of the hometown scoring advantage for Navajo Sterling. But Rodolfo Bellato isn't as bad as people say. Yeah, he's coming off the performance of a lifetime with the up kick. But his only losses on his record are to the same person where he was just out-athleted. He can move forward. He can grapple. He's ugly, but he's tough. Then we have Ramon Tavares. Ramon Tavares isn't exactly great, and he did lose his last fight because he was just bombing away, just throwing huge overhands and headhunting. So if he does more of the same here, then I think he gets picked apart. But he's a high-volume guy. He's very tough. He's not a coward. He'll continue to move forward no matter what. So I don't think Ramon Tavares is supposed to be a 3-1 dog here. I think he can make this fight competitive. I think Jack Jenkins is a little bit overrated. I think Jack Jenkins is getting credit for a leg kick finish that he got 4 years ago. And now it's like he's nasty striker. Jack Jenkins is good. I'm not saying he sucks. But I do think these odds are a little wide here. And I think Ramon Tavares, if he's not just headhunting and he just stays busy and keeps it clean, can certainly have some success in this fight. I think a plus 3.5 for Ramon Tavares is probably a good betting spot. And then the main event, Dominic Reyes. Listen, Dominic Reyes is the only person I have ever seen at a high level pull themselves out of a death spiral. This guy fought John Jones for the title. Many people think he won that belt. And then he just kept getting knocked out. Just loss. 4 losses in a row. I think 3 of them were knockout. It was a straight up death spiral, the only way to describe it. And then he pulled himself out of it. Because we've seen people like Cody Garbrandt, for example, get to the pinnacle and then lose a bunch in a row, win one random fight, lose more, win one, lose. And that's not what we're getting with Dominic Reyes. Won a bunch, got the title fight, lost a bunch, And now he's on a 3-fight knockout win streak over decent opponents. Dustin Jacoby doesn't suck. Nikita Krylov doesn't suck. So all of a sudden, Dominic Reyes is making things happen. So if he comes in, lets his hands go, and doesn't try to play a technical striking game, he could potentially win here. Carlos Ulberg is by far the better striker. That's undeniable. Carlos Ulberg got a gift decision in his last fight, and now he's fighting at home. So if it's anywhere near close, he'll get another gift decision. But if Dominic Reyes moves forward, keeps it ugly, doesn't play a technical game, Dominic Reyes could absolutely 100% win this fight. Let's take a look at my actual bets for this card. I've got 5 units on the board. But I also have my UFC 320 safety parlay up. I saw the odds. I thought they were spectacular. And before they get away from me, I went ahead and placed that bet, and I'm showing it to you here. I put 2 full units on the UFC 320 safety parlay. The UFC Perth safety parlay is 1 unit, but it is plus 126. The odds on both of those, spectacular. And I'm very confident in both of those. Very surprisingly confident in this week's, because when I originally looked at this card, I was like, these spots are kind of tough. And then I just took a break. I took a step back, didn't stare at the odds, because the more you stare at these odds, you can convince yourself of anything. Took a step back, stopped staring at it, gave it a day or two, came back. I said, boom, boom. Just went with my gut. Here, there's the safety parlay, plus 126. Did the exact same thing with UFC 320, except UFC 320 was not a hard safety. I was like, yep, these 2 win. Slap those together. So if you want to check out the safety parlay for this card, the safety parlay for UFC 320, which is next week, it's $10, man. It's $10 freaking dollars. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It's $10. You hate it? Cancel. You love it? Great. You only spent $10. What are we doing here? The UFC 320 safety parlay minus 111. The safety parlay for this card plus 126. And then we got a bunch of other bets on the board. I have a straight up money line on Jamie Mullarkey. I don't think Jamie Mullarkey is as bad as people say. And yeah, he's ugly. I get it. I mean, he's as ginger as you can be before you need medical attention. Is he chinny? He's absolutely chinny. But luckily for us and the people who are on the Jamie Mullarkey side, A, we don't have to look at him that often. We don't have to kiss him. We're not dating him, so let him be ugly. And B, he's not fighting anybody dangerous. He's not fighting somebody with big knockout power. He's not fighting somebody that could really make something happen. He's fighting Rolando Bedoya, who is just kind of a volume striker, as is Jamie Mullarkey. Except Jamie Mullarkey is a volume striker who also has grappling. Jamie Mullarkey is a volume striker who has grappling, who has a ton of UFC experience. So Jamie Mullarkey is going to be the pick. And I went ahead and threw a half a unit on that. And this line is tightening, and Jamie Mullarkey will be the favorite come fight night. Brando Pepperlick. I definitely said that wrong. I went ahead and placed a bet on him over a week ago. When you guys have weeks off and there's no fights and you just sort of ignore this world, I'm grinding. I'm still finding bets. I'm still making the videos. I'm still putting the graphics together. And I went ahead and I placed the bet on Brando Pepperlick at minus 125. That dude is minus 225 right now. So if you're a premium member and you got the push notification on the off week and you went ahead and checked it out, hopefully there's an insane amount of value there. An insane amount of value there. But if you wait week in, week out, and you're just here to have some fun, that's fine. But if you take this serious, got to keep an eye on the weeks off. Half a unit on that because he is still untested. I mean, I think he wins this fight. I'm very confident in him. That's why I placed the bet. But this is his UFC debut. Andre Petroski. That's a fighter that I've gone sort of back and forth on. I wasn't super confident in him. He's an unreliable guy who knocked himself out shooting a takedown just 2 years ago. But then I went ahead, looked at him, looked at his opponent. His opponent can be taken down. His opponent's doing an insanely fast turnaround on different continents. And Andre Petroski, while an idiot sometimes, can make the right decisions. We have seen him in fights where he goes all in on the wrestling. And I think if he does that here, then he's good. All in on the wrestling, shoot the takedowns, move forward, you will be totally fine. Then we got a couple of parlays. What I did is I took some fighters I was pretty confident in, slapped them together. Obviously, these little 2-leg parlays are safer than the long tail parlays, but they're still risky because let's say we just have a wild upset here and Jake Matthews, okay, let's go back to Noche. Alessandro Costa broke his foot. We saw somebody get cracked in the nuts so hard he's claiming it exploded. Jared Gordon was hit by a car the night before his fight. So shit happens. So if Jake Matthews is hit by a car the night before the fight and has a trash performance, this whole parlay busts. I don't typically love doing parlays for that reason. You're exposed to multiple people. You can't control any of this. It's one thing to have a bad read, right? It's one thing to look at it, pick somebody, their skill sets are here, and then they go out there and they suck and you were just dead wrong. It's another thing to have the fighter you bet on be hit by a car. It's another thing to have the fighter you bet on kick somebody in the dick so hard they can't continue, so the bets are canceled. It's another thing to have the person you bet on break their foot or their toe go sideways, whatever the hell the issue was with Costa. You can't control all those things, which is why I like to mitigate my risk. I don't overexpose to any one fighter. I don't love doing the parlays, but the odds were a little tricky here, so I went ahead and did it. Jimmy Crute and Jake Matthews, I think they both win. They should both win. Slap them together, minus 103, almost an even money parlay. And then Navajo Sterling and Michelle Montague. Same thing, they should both win. Navajo Sterling should be able to dance around. If he's taken down, pop back up. Michelle Montague, as long as she's not a complete PFL fraud like we have seen from others, she should be able to come forward, get her takedowns, out-grapple, and do what she's supposed to do. She's also dangerous on the feet. Plus money there. And I just went ahead and put a unit on it. I said, hey, put your nuts on the table. And then, of course, we have the safety parlays. So if you want to check those out, WeWantPicks.com. Here's a couple of other bets from the other boys. The website's not just me. We got Artem, Bet Sam. We got Jacob doing their things. And obviously, we have the artificial intelligence and all the tools. 320 safety parlay. Minus 111, we talked about that. We have a bet on the board for this week. Petroski Rowston does not go the distance. Minus 120. That's a full unit bet from one of the boys. A Jonathan Micallef plus money line bet. We have a UFC 322 bet. We actually have 8 units of bets on the board for future fight cards. Not just this week. We don't live in a week-to-week world. The bets, the tools are all designed for not only this week, but the future as well. So if you like to get ahead of the line movement, if you like to place your bets early, check it all out. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, we got 28 total units of bets on the board. 20 of them are for this card. 8 of them are for future cards. And here are some of those future cards. Here's the full month coming up. We have UFC Perth. Then we have the Charles Oliveira, now Mateusz Gamrot, UFC Rio. We have UFC 320, and then we have UFC Vancouver with a new main event there as well. Guys, check it out. WeWantPicks.com. It is by far the greatest offering in the space. Nothing is remotely close. Like literally, nobody has done anything that even remotely compares to what we've done on that website. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let me know what you guys think about the new UFC Rio main event and the new UFC Vancouver main event. Obviously, Charles Oliveira versus Fiziev was going to be a fun striking match. Now we got Gamrot. He's going to be looking to grapple, obviously, but Charles Oliveira has the most amount of submissions in the history of that division. And then the new Brendan Allen versus RDR fight instead of Fluffy. I think that one took a little bit of a hit. And now we'll just find out if RDR can do enough to earn his title shot. Guys, thanks for the watch. I genuinely appreciate every last one of you, and good luck this weekend.